When both you and the narcissist go silent, the world does not become peaceful. It explodes because in that instance, someone finally drops the reins and it is not you. Many people believe that shared silence means the tale is finished, but the reality is much more disturbing. This is when the narcissist starts their true mental collapse and when your recovery really begins. Stay with me because what occurs next is the part no one gets you ready for. If this is already feeling very familiar, stay with this. You must grasp the mental ground you are walking on because knowing this is how you stop the cycle for good. Let us go further. When both you and the narcissist stop talking to each other, the very first thing that happens on their end is what I call the resetting stage. It is small, it is mental, and it is something most people do not see because it happens in the dark, behind the scenes, long before the narcissist ever tries to move. When you go quiet, you see it as an emotional change, a limit, a step toward getting better. But the narcissist does not see your silence that way. They view it as information. Your lack of an answer becomes something they must crack, not something they honor. They start to judge how they lost their hold, not how they caused you pain. Narcissists do not look inward the way healthy people do. Instead, they check to see if you got busy. Are you hurting them back? Did someone new show up? Are you trying them out? They look for the trick, the reason, the possible danger. Your silence becomes a riddle they need to figure out because not knowing makes them shaky. During this resetting, they might not reach out at all. In fact, their quiet is not a lack of care, it is a plan. They might watch what you do online, check your group of friends, or see who is talking to you. They are collecting facts, waiting for your next feeling-based move. Narcissists believe that people they once ruled will always come back. So your silence is not seen as an ending. It is seen as a short-term fight. This is why they do not worry right away. Instead, they wait, thinking you will break the silence first, the same way you have in the past. They count on the habits they built in you. The shame, the fear of a fight, the wish for peace. They expect you to give in. When you do not, their resetting becomes more focused. They start to wonder if their power is fading, and that is when the danger becomes real to them. Silence in their world is never just nothing. It is either a chance to show they are the boss again, or a threat to their pride. And the longer you stay quiet, the more they feel the floor move under them because your silence breaks the power setup they lived on. When both sides fall into silence, the feeling is very different for you than it is for the narcissist. And this contrast shows a hard truth. You feel the pain, but they feel the trouble. When you stop talking, you are often carrying the whole weight of what took place. You are picking through the emotional mess, the ruined trust, the missing answers, and the mental tiredness. You may feel low, lonely, mixed up, or even bad. You are missing not just the bond, but the version of yourself that put up with so much. Your silence comes from having too much to deal with. You have reached a point where your brain and body cannot take more mess. You are trying to take back space, pride, and clear thought. That inner fight is heavy, and it touches your rest, your self-worth, your thoughts, and your sense of who you are. Meanwhile, the narcissist does not see the silence through deep feelings. They do not sit with the loss the way you do. They do not think about what went wrong, or how they hurt you, or what needs to be different. Instead, their first thought is about the hassle. Your silence breaks their habit, not their heart. They are used to having a path to your focus, your reactions, your regrets, your help, even your fights. All of it fed their sense of being big. When you go silent, that flow of praise suddenly stops. This does not crush them inside, it just bugs them. They feel the lack of what you gave them the way someone feels losing a service they used every day. It is a break, a weight, a frustration. They are not thinking, I lost someone special. They are thinking, why are they not answering? Your hurt and their hassle live in two different mental worlds. You are sad for the bond while they are checking their access. You are trying to fix yourself while they are working out how your silence hits their pride. You feel the hole. They feel the break. And as time goes on, this gap becomes even more clear. You slowly start to see how heavy the heart burden really was, and how much of yourself you kept quiet to keep things calm. They start to wonder why something that used to work so well, your emotional reaction, suddenly is not working. The tilt becomes clear. Your silence pushes you deeper into looking inward and healing, while it pushes them into being annoyed and feeling owed. The heart weight you carry is deep, while the bad feeling they have is tied not to losing you, but to losing the ease of you doing what you were told. When both sides go silent, the narcissist does not feel that quiet as a break or a shared step back. They feel it as a direct hit to their pride, because silence from someone they once ruled feels like a revolt. The narcissist sees bonds through a lens of power, not sharing. So when you no longer reply, no longer call, and no longer give them focus, it breaks the mental ladder they think they built. They see your silence as an act of war, even if your goal was just to keep your peace or find mental clarity. In their mind, silence is never just neutral. It is an insult. It is a fight. It is proof that their power might be slipping. This is why silence hits them harder than any fight. Fights give them a place. Reacting gives them power. Even being mad proves to them that they still matter in your inner world. But silence takes them off the main stage. And that move puts the fake story they live on in danger. Your silence forces them to face the chance that they are not as needed, liked, or strong as they thought. Narcissists cannot handle not knowing, and your lack of talk creates just that, a space they cannot rule or read. Instead of seeing your silence as a good limit, they see it as a dare. This is when their inner talk becomes twisted. They may tell themselves you are being rude, unthankful, or tricky. They may see your distance as a game, thinking you are trying to get a rise out of them. Their pride leads them to think that your silence is a move, not a sign of being tired or protecting yourself. Some narcissists will mentally move to a fight mode, seeing the silence as a contest of strength they must win. Others will call it a lie, telling themselves you left them, even though they may have treated you badly for months or years. They change the meaning of your silence to protect their own image, not to understand what you went through. As this mental heat grows, the narcissist's sense of rule starts to shake. Your silence becomes a glass showing their own fear. And rather than sitting with that bad feeling, they start making up stories that make them look better. They may think you will give in at some point because you always have, or they may start planning ways to hurt you for not following their script. In their world, silence scares their pride because it hints at something they cannot take. You may no longer be under their mental spell. When both side stop talking, something very different happens inside for the narcissist than for you. For you, the silence may feel like room to breathe, room to think, room to finally get what you made it through. But for the narcissist, your absence makes a kind of mental hole that forces them to face something they spend their whole lives running from, the loss of power. They do not think about shared distance or shared limits. Instead, they see your leaving as a crack in the frame they built to hold up their identity. Narcissists do not work from an inner sense of value. Their self-worth is built on the outside, held together by the looks, focus, and praise of the people around them. You were part of that frame. Your feelings, your answers, your habit of coming back after a fight, all of that made their sense of being better and stronger real. When you go silent, you stop that loop, and that stop forces them into a moment of being seen. It shows them how much they need you to stay involved. This is something they do not want to admit even to themselves. They built a story where they were the big one, the one in charge, the one calling the plays. Your silence fights that story. It shows that you may have walked out of the part they gave you, and this shakes their carefully kept identity. Without your reactions, they have nothing to push on, nothing to twist, nothing to use as proof of their strength. This absence becomes a threat not because they care about the bond in a deep or grown-up way, but because it breaks the base of power that let them feel important. This is the moment when their inner state becomes jumpy. They may start thinking over old talks, looking for signs they missed. They may wonder if someone else has taken their spot. They may start looking for ways to show power again, even if they still have not called you. The silence becomes louder for them than it does for you because they do not know what is going on with you. That lack of sight takes away the fake idea that they can guess what you will do. They are suddenly outside of your world, not in the middle of it. And that loss of being the center is mentally too much for them. Their mind moves from being proud to being worried, from feeling owed to being wary, from being sure to being shaky. And all of it is set off by something as simple as you not being there. When both you and the narcissist pull back into silence, it may look from the outside like nothing is going on. But inside, the narcissist starts moving through a set of expected acts meant to get their sense of power back. One of the most common ways is their try to fill the hole you left through hoovering, baiting, or bringing in third parties. These tricks are not by chance. They are mental tools the narcissist uses when they feel their power fading. Hoovering happens when they see your silence is not just for a moment. At first, they think you will come back because that is how they trained you. When you do not, the worry starts. Hoovering is their try to pull you back into the loop, not because they love you, but because losing you hurts their pride. They may send a kind note, a past memory, or a plea about a problem. They may act sorry, thoughtful, or very nice. They change their tone to whatever they think will work because the aim is not to be close again. It is to get power back. If hoovering fails or feels too weak for them, they move to baiting. Baiting is meant to get an emotional reaction from you, whether good or bad. Narcissists do not care which way your feelings go. They care about being the cause. They might post something online to make you jealous, send a mean or cold note to make you mad, or start a mess that forces you to answer. Any reaction, even a bad one, makes them feel important again. Silence takes away their strength. So baiting becomes their way of poking the mark they made, hoping you will show just enough feeling to remind them you are still there. When those plans do not work, they grow to triangulation. This is where they bring in someone else, an ex, a new person, a friend, or a family member. Not to be close, but to make a story that puts them back in charge. They might show off a new bond, hint that someone else likes them more, or lie about your silence to look like the one who was hurt. The whole point of this is to make you feel pushed out, shaky, or easy to replace. It is meant to trick you back into proving your worth or getting your spot back in their life. These acts are not proofs of love. They are proofs of needing you. The narcissist counts on outside supply to keep a sense of who they are. And when you take that away, they rush for ways to fix the leak. Hoovering, baiting, and using others are their tries to get back mental power, not heart closeness. Their reactions come from fear, feeling owed, and pride being hurt, all set off by your silence. When the silence goes on for both sides, something big starts to happen that most people do not expect. While you may see the quiet as a step toward peace or an end, the narcissist feels it as a growing sense of worry. Your silence is not seen as calm. It is seen as a loss of power. And because their identity is so tied to how others react, especially people they once had in their grip, the lack of your answer sets off an inner bell. What becomes key here is knowing that your quiet is not their peace, it is their fear. Narcissists need feelings from others to keep the weak frame of their self-worth together. They need focus, praise, fights, drama, anything that puts them in the center of someone else's world. When you stop giving that energy, they feel an inner fall starting. They do not how to handle themselves without outside input, and your silence takes that away. This makes a mental chain reaction. At first, they may try to act like your silence does not matter. They may act like they do not care, are far away, or even glad. But this is just a shield. As time goes on, the quiet becomes harder for them to brush off. Without your focus holding up their big self-image, they start to feel small, passed over, and not important. These feelings are too much for them because they hit their biggest fear, being just like everyone else, unseen, or not mattering. While you may be using the silence to get strong or build yourself back up, they feel the same silence as an empty hole that threats their whole self. Your nerves start to calm without the constant stress or not knowing what they will do. The fog goes away. You start to see your worth and take back parts of yourself that were hidden. You find clear thought in the quiet while they find mess. This gap becomes even bigger the longer the silence stays. They might start thinking too much, reliving old talks, dreaming up scenes, or making up reasons why you are not talking. The not knowing eats at them. They do not miss the bond, they miss the look of themselves they used to see in your eyes. And so while your silence is fixing you, theirs is breaking them. You find pieces of yourself coming back. They feel pieces of their fake self falling away. What feels peaceful and needed for you becomes annoying and scary for them. This difference in what you feel is what finally shows the tilt that was there all along, showing you that the quiet sets you free while it slowly pulls them apart inside. When the silence stays on both sides, something starts to shift in you in a way that often feels slow, confusing, and oddly good all at once. Your nerves, which have been on high alert during the bond, finally get a chance to stop waiting for the next hit. Narcissistic bonds create a long-term state of being overly careful. You learn to guess their moods, their reactions, and their shaky emotional state. Your body becomes used to expecting stress, even in times of calm. So when the silence starts, your system does not relax right away. At first, it does not know how. You may feel jumpy, active, or odd with the quiet. You may think the lack of a fight means something is wrong. That feeling is not being weak. It is how you are made. Your body has been taught to live in a way to just get by. But as time goes on, the fog starts to leave. Your mind slowly unties itself from the mess. You start seeing how your thoughts change when you are not always waiting for their next blow-up or trick. Your sleep gets better. You start feeling times of stillness that you have not felt in years. This is your nerves getting back to normal. It is seeing that the danger is gone. This is the start of real healing, the kind that does not need a yes, and I am sorry, or an ending from them. This is the moment when you start taking back the brain space that was once all used up by their needs, asks, and messes. You find again your power to think clearly, to feel your own feelings without someone else twisting them, and to make choices based on what you value instead of being afraid to make a mistake.